Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is our Monday night game. I don't think I've ever recalled a game in the playoffs being on a Monday night. But anyway, we have a great game between the Eagles and Tampa Bay. The Philadelphia Eagles are limping into the playoffs, to say the least. They've had one of the strangest regular seasons in recent history. 10-1 start, 1-5 finish, losing to terrible teams, must-win games against Arizona and the Giants. The Eagles are in complete disarray. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 5 out of the last 6 games, but the last game in a must-win game against Carolina, the worst team in the NFL, they looked terrible. Baker Mayfield had like a 70 rate. He threw for like 130 yards. He was terrible. They didn't score any touchdowns the entire game. They won the game 9-0, but man, Carolina is terrible. All right. I'm from Philly originally. I want the Birds to win, but I don't know if it's going to happen, guys. I'm going to give you the most unbiased opinion I can on this game. Stay tuned. This game kicks off Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Eagles have already played this year, but that was back in Week 3. The Eagles were able to win that game 25-11, and A.J. Brown had a killer game, over 130 yards, so the Eagles really have to hope that he's healthy. And he's not the only one. There's a ton of Eagles that are banged up. Devontae Smith is coming off an ankle injury, and if you've seen, man, Jalen Hurts' throwing hand, that right middle finger, got dislocated. It looks pretty gnarly. A bunch of reports are saying that he hasn't thrown the ball at all this week. Luckily for him, they're playing in Tampa Bay, so the weather won't be so cold, so gripping the ball won't be as hard if they were playing in like the tundra that Kansas City and the Dolphins are playing in. But this game is going to be really, really close, I think. Both teams aren't very good. And the Eagles' offense did finish the year pretty good when you look at the grand scope of things. They did finish the year in the top 10 in points and third down efficiency, and they had 2 1,000-yard receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. That busted up finger for Jalen Hurts gives me a lot of concern, especially because the Buccaneers defense is a top 10 unit in the NFL. They are 7th in points per game allowed with 19.1, and they're 3rd in red zone defense. They also rank 7th in sacks with 48, and the Eagles' O-line is middle of the pack. They gave up 39 sacks this year. That ranks 11th in the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is one of the best at defending the run. They're only giving up 3.8 yards a carry and around 95 yards per game. On the other side of the ball, DeAndre Swift is a first-time 1,000-yard rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's also got 5 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, Baker Mayfield has been pretty effective this year. 28 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. But throughout his career, you get good Baker and you get bad Baker. Last week, in a must-win game against the Carolina Panthers, they scored no touchdowns. 3 field goals to win the game, 9-0, and we got bad Baker Mayfield. He only passed for like 130 yards, a 70 rate. He was terrible against a terrible team. So I'm hoping for the Eagles' sake that we get bad Baker Mayfield on Monday night so the Eagles can get a W and move on to the next round of the playoffs. So who do I think is actually going to win this game? The Eagles' secondary is one of the worst secondaries in the entire NFL. They can't stop any wide receivers at all whatsoever, and the Buccaneers have a two-headed monster in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I just can't see the Eagles just coming out of nowhere and learning how to stop the pass. They are getting Darius Slay back, and hopefully that helps so he can cover Mike Evans. The Eagles are also terrible at the linebacker position. If Baker Mayfield doesn't have a bad Baker game, I think they're going to eat the Eagles' defensive backs up like everyone else has been. They're ranked like 30th against the pass. They're so bad. They're inconsistent. They're just a terrible, terrible unit. Bradbury has been a shell of himself. Darius Slay has been hurt the last few weeks, but he hasn't even been that great. The safeties are banged up. Blankenship is banged up. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a W here in a close game, 20-17. I hope I'm wrong and the Eagles can fly and get a W, and Jalen Hurts' finger is not going to be a big issue in this game. A.J. Brown would be healthy and Devontae Smith would be healthy, but I just don't think that's the case. I think the Eagles are too banged up. I don't think they're like in it anymore. Luckily for them, Tampa Bay is not the best team in the world, so they have a chance to win. I hope they do. Let me know in the comments below who do you think is going to win this game. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in a close game. Let me know. Leave some comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.